You love the movie Halloween. That is one of your favorites. And what I love is it's so specific, but I've heard you talk about there's a way that Mike Myers, there's something about his physicality and the way he kills that you find really fascinating.
Well, I mean, the thing about Michael Myers is I think of him as a truly minimalist villain, which I just love that. I think that's always the scariest. I mean, the master class with him, the story about the mask, that it was a William Shatner mask.
I've heard that.
That was painted. The prop guy just went to the store, was like, fuck, it could be, it could be this, whatever, this clown mask, or check this out. And it all clicked. And Carpenter's a genius. So, what I love about that film is how Carpenter tailored this monster in all of the choices. The mask, the way he moves, the stillness, shot from across the street, and you can kind of, the Where's Waldo aspect. It's just all very elegant for what's ultimately, meant to be a brutal kind of killing tale. And that's kind of that's why I think horror is, such elevated cinema when done right.
I've noticed something that I was watching the movie that came out a number of years ago, The Witch, and it's is it Eggers who made that film? And I noticed that there was one thing that to me, I love a movie that creates such an eerie environment. Things that aren't otherwise scary are frightening to me. So there's one shot early in The Witch which just shows it's a tree line. It's just a tree line and the wind's moving through it. It's a New England tree line and the wind's moving through it and the leaves are rustling and it stays on that shot and there's the music. And I remembered feeling like the hair on the back of my neck standing up. And I thought, to me, I like films. I don't necessarily need blood flying everywhere constantly. I love this idea of something's amiss and otherwise normal, sort of harmless looking objects or environments suddenly scare the shit out of me, and I can't tell you why.
I mean, so much is the music, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the same moment can go so many different ways, and if the music is scary, then it'll be scary. If the music is too happy, it's even scarier. It's right. I'm all about tone as well. Yeah. So what is your all-time favorite if you had to do?
Wow.
Horror.
God, it's so hard because I don't know. I don't think I'm qualified to say because I don't know the genre as well.
Sure you do. Come on.
I see Three Men and a Baby as a horror film.
Oh, no.
It has that ghost in the window, that famous ghost.
No, I'm always... a comedy that hits me the wrong way is, to me, the ultimate horror film. If there's a comedy that I feel like, I didn't like that, that's more horrifying to me than anything. It's like, really? You guys were going for comedy? That's horrible!
Well, that ghost behind the curtains in that one scene of Three Men and a Baby. Yep. You know about that?
No, I don't. I mean, I know of it, but I don't know what the...
Well, so it's, it turns out, the whole urban legend was that there's a moment where you can see a ghost behind the curtain in this loft downtown at Three Men and a Baby. And the reveal was the truth, supposedly, is that it was, Ted Danson's character was an actor. And then it was a cardboard cutout of Ted Danson that if you look up YouTube, it looks like a child's ghost behind the thing. But I've always wanted to make a horror film where someone's being hunted by a cardboard cutout of Ted Danson. He's not in it. It's do I need his? I probably need his permission.
You probably need the permission. Well, we can get a photograph of him. But there's another movie I really liked, It Follows.
Yeah,
which
masterpiece. I
thought was so terrific, and it's just this concept of someone slowly walking towards you from like 800 yards away. Yeah. And I watched that, and I thought, I think a zombie walking is scarier than a zombie running.
Yes. I mean, I had a scene in my film where there's a guy running towards you, so
yes,
I have a little bit
which is also very scary. I'm just saying, it depends on the situation, but zombie running to me is less frightening than zombie walking. What do you say?
Meh. I mean,
what?
Are you talking about something that gets to you later?
It gets to me later.
You're talking about something that gets to you later is scarier than something that gets to you sooner.
It makes an appointment?
Yes, I like my zombies that call the day before, and they say it's for good. And by the way, I hope you have a ramp because I can't use stairs.
It does. Well, to be fair, It Follows was I had seen It Follows. I think by the time I had shot Get Out, and part of that scene where Walter is running straight out.
Yeah.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I was thinking, well, what I love about the energy of It Follows is anything in any movie that comes from the back of the house towards you is doing the ultimate in film illusions.
Yeah.
It's the train robbery, right? A train coming through, people will dodge out of the way.
Exactly.
Anyway, so I took what a little bit of what It Follows had done and North by Northwest before it, and sped Walter at it. So kudos to that film.
Well, it's terrifying when he's running when Walter's running right at the lens. It's absolutely terrifying. I also find it scary when they're all sitting around in It Follows and a character from way far away is just slowly walking. Now, yes, I like the idea that I have time to call an Uber. There's and then debate which one is closest and wait 9 minutes.
And all that time you're watching and experience more and more fear as it gets closer.
Yes, and also fear about should I have gone. I don't know if I picked the right ride. Maybe I shouldn't have gone. Maybe I just should have gone comfort.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Done an Uber pool instead.
Or Uber pool would have come faster, but I had to have comfort.
Yeah. This is not what most horror protagonists have on their minds.
Well, again, agree to disagree. I'm opening you to a new kind of horror, and I want you're free to use this in any of your films where something terrifying is happening, but then the character's worried about what this is going to cost them financially. Yeah. And
it just feels like the horrors in your life, when I put out something into my movie, I'm putting real horror, something I'm really afraid of. Right. Like if I saw like a doppelganger or racism. Yeah. But you're talking about things like
what's the right ride sharing app?
So
is Amazon Prime? Is it the free delivery? Do I really need this in a day?
No.
Am I willing to pay more for it?
So the guy in Get Out really was based on you.
Yeah. And by the way, I'd have voted for Obama again. I'm sorry. I mean, really.
Yeah. We'll work on a horror premise.
This is why I don't get invited to any of these cool horror discussions. You know what I found? I found there was a movie, I think it was The Vanishing.
The original?
The original Vanishing.
The Dutch.
I loved that movie.
Harrowing,
It's harrowing. I love moments of Let the Right One In. The original, again, they've always keep remaking these movies, but I like the originals. And I do love, things like movies like Midsommar freaked me out.
Okay, so this tells me you are, in fact, a horror fan and you have very good taste. These are good movies. And The Vanishing is fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's dark stuff.
It's really dark stuff.
A dark movie in all daylight. That's the crazy thing. It's so well lit.
I didn't see that as being your cup of tea.
Oh, you know what's funny too? I love those movies. And I was talking about this with my wife the other day. I said, you never watch these movies with me. And she said, because I don't like that stuff. And she said, when we got married, I had no idea that this is, and it's something that's been growing, but I really do love these films, but no one in my house, my kids don't like horror as a genre, and so I have to go and watch these things alone, and then that feels creepy and sad. But so maybe I'll get you to come over.
Hey,
you can watch.
I'd like. I'll bring the cards. We'll
bring the cards. Bring your cardboard, Ted Danson. And then, but I love that sense of eeriness. Hereditary goes so crazily off the rails. Yeah. It's insane.
Well, just an iconic film. I love this movie, and so scary too. Ari's, and I don't know if you've met Ari. He did this same. I played the same game with him, and he's very, he's very nice, very funny, very, warm dude. Right. And as you would imagine, our film just creeped into this like eerie, dark place that I just, I couldn't even wrangle it back. He's from a horror perspective, in many ways, he's the champ.
Well, I was going to say, and I thought, because this is something, it's sort of what we're talking about, but just as in The Witch, I was just looking at all these trees undulating.
Yeah.
But in Nope, when you're taking what is a very friendly looking sky, it's a friendly sky, and it's not even a menacing cloud, but it becomes menacing. For me, it's all about difficulty of the dive, which is, how can you take something that really wouldn't frighten you in any other situation? Mm-hmm. You don't have this dark thundercloud or whatever. It's this very calm, beautiful sky. Mm-hmm. And then you learn that if you stare at it in the distance, you can identify that it's different from the other. But it takes a while. Mm-hmm. And I loved all that. I love the way you just kept really slowly, but just notching it up and notching it up. I love that.
Thank you. I mean, my sort of philosophy of the genre is I'm confrontational with my audience, but I also want to, I'm based on a comedic sensibility. So I want to get the entire audience on board. Mm-hmm. And so one of the challenges with the genre of horror and nightmarish shit is that you're asking people to come take time out of their lives and come to a worse world and a scarier world for a while. And so some people are just, hey, I'm in, let's go. But for most people, you kind of need a sort of special set of circumstances. And so what I found and what I love in horror movies is when the aesthetic and the vibe, and I love daytime horror where everything about the viewing experience is soothing and warm to the audience.
Yeah, yeah.
What you're sort of noticing, of course, is in so many of the best movies that births the creepiest sensibility, because, anything that's sort of trying to be scary through trying to be scary kind of ends up in, in a Halloween store.
Yeah, it's I mean, again, we're jumping back, the similarity to comedy, but my favorite comedy is there's absolutely nothing funny going on here. Mm-hmm. Nothing funny is going on here. Like, nothing funny happening here. And that was, something that the Zucker brothers stumbled on, which is, no, let's just get these great straight men actors to be an airplane, mm-hmm. and let's have them, do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Surely you don't think I do, and don't call me Shirley. Mm-hmm. But they say it like, I'm sorry, but your son is dead. And it's just horrifying, but they're saying this absolutely hilarious stuff, but in the same way that they did on 1970s detective shows. Mm-hmm. So when nothing funny happening here is my favorite kind of comedy, and nothing scary is happening here might be my favorite kind of horror, which is not the castle and nighttime and and shrieking and howling in the night. It is something you can make, ranch country that otherwise is quite beautiful, or you can take a beautiful weekend home and someone's visiting his girlfriend and make it absolutely terrifying.
Absolutely.
And to me, that's scarier.
And it is so much as the music. It's like for our interview here, for our discussion, there was a camera slowly moving around, mm-hmm. and as you were talking, it was just more of a bum bum dum dum. You would be like, what the fuck is Conan about to do to Jordan? What's about to happen?
Yeah.
And there is so,
and lots of you talking and me just staring at you. Exactly. Yeah,
that's it, right? But to your point, you being friendly and nice, the nicer you are with that music, the scarier the scene even becomes, and the more sort of joy joyous. So this is the reason, like, you know, smiles are big in horror. It's that instant visual, visceral, primal contradiction of your terror, you know, and this is part of why I find if I can unlock the right horror engine and world, I can get more glee out of trying to tell that story than, you know, even doing sketch or any other thing. But it's not like I can just go, okay, I'm just going to make my Michael Myers movie where I make a movie about a killer with a knife and necessarily have that be fun for me.
Yeah.
That's not going to be my thing. So I'm respect, you know, that's why Carpenter is the GOAT.
Yeah.
In horror.
Yeah.
But you know, yeah, I'm going to be looking for some way to subvert it in my own way.
You know, I'm going to dip back and forth between comedy and horror because I love to do that. But you've talked a lot about how the British Office was influential for you when you saw that, and particularly Ricky Gervais's portrayal in that, David Brent. That was something that spoke to you.
Yes, although that that doesn't seem really hip to talk about anymore, right? That must have been an interview from.
I know, but I'm saying I'm trying to go back. I'm trying to go back a ways. But how, when you were getting into comedy, was that something that interested you at all, or no?
So yeah, I mean, look, that honestly, it's I have a, you know, Gervais. I'll be honest with you, Gervais has like a cringe factor these days.
Yes,
and I love him. He's a genius. Mm-hmm. And I
cringe factor because he's always trying to step on the line, step over the line.
Well, yeah, something like that. But it's what we love about. I think it's like figuring out that he is more Brent than we realize, you know?
Yeah. Which is his genius.
It's his genius. So he's an absolute genius. He knows this. I know him. And you know what I'd say about the Office, when that thing came out, mm-hmm. I thought it was the first thing that was able to play uncomfortable and awkward and play this entire new side of comedy, right, that I felt like was so cringy, mm-hmm. and welcome. Yeah. So I think it's like, you know, to address his the master that is Gervais and Merchant, it's like cringe master generals. Yeah. And so as a horror fan, mm-hmm. They're goated in a certain way. Right. But I don't think it's like cool to be like, hey, let me talk about how cool Gervais is right now.
Well, that's what. First of all, we never. This no is not a cool. This is not a cool podcast.
Well, look, I mean,
this is not. So you're free. I mean, we're not here to just talk about cool stuff because I'm here.
Well, that's the thing.
That's the saving grace.
Well, tell him how much you love Kevin Spacey.
Well,
just tell you. Okay.
Well, look,
what Spacey did.
Don't. I don't want you to fall for that.
Okay, I won't fall for it.
What I'm trying to say is,
thank you for stopping me because he's always trying to get me in trouble.
This is what I have to say about the whole controversy that just happened. Mm-hmm. It feels weird to talk about someone like Gervais when I'm in the presence of you. Mm-hmm. And I'm not joking. It feels like, what are we even doing here? Right. Well, you don't like that? I'm calling you the GOAT. Like, it's like, why are we you know, don't worry about what I said in 2009 about Gervais. You're here.
I like that.
But he's very uncomfortable with compliments.
Well, no, not from this man.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
You like that?
I'm taking a day off of being uncomfortable around compliments.
Okay, cool.
You're right. I am the GOAT.
Well,
fuck everybody.
No, I don't like that.
Best you ever lived.
No, I don't.
Also a great painter and athlete.
No.
I did not mean to break Conan. This is not good. Look, you are.
I'm an amazing lover. I go all night long.
Well,
what happened to me? I blacked out and said shit, and then I woke up, and I just smell burning rubber, and I don't know what happened. I feel bad now.
We had, I mean, I feel like I've produced a film with you.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Because
do you feel that way?
Well, you and I had an interesting, and I don't know where this is going or what you're doing with this project.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I'm just going to say that I got this invitation to go to your office, and I didn't know anything about what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. And then you had this, it was absolutely fascinating. I think it was over 2 hours, you and I think you've done this with a bunch of other people, yes. But you just presented me with a bunch of decks of cards, and I would select different cards mm-hmm. that would lead us towards the making of a movie.
Yeah.
And so I'd pick you'd start out with genres, and I would just pick 3 genres, and you and I would talk about them.
We produced it together.
And this is your life. Your life is making films. That is your life now, and you're making these films, and you think about it, and you're clearly extremely gifted at it, and this is what you've been put here to do. And then there's me, and I'm just firing all these ideas at you about how we could make this movie. Fun. It was really fun.
So I'll give you a little.
Do you think we ever got close to making a movie together that could be made? Be honest.
Yes. Our premise was solid.
Okay.
And you were a big part of that. Now, wait, can I backtrack for just a second? And because this is something that these are a bunch of sessions I've been doing with people whom I admire. The Ryan Cooglers, the Paul Thomas Andersons of the world. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's going to happen of these, but they really are amazing at sort of like learning about how other creative people think about the filmmaking process.
Right.
The Daniels,
mm-hmm.
Some just incredible filmmakers, and then Conan.
Well done. You got to break it up every now and then. Every now and then it's like, this is this amazing French meal, vichyssoise, and, just perfectly baked, steaks and everything. And then every now and then you got to just have
new perspective.
Yeah.
Fruit Loops.
Some Fruit Loops with a lot of almond milk.
And so the whole thing was we ended up, it's kind of like a D&D, yes. But making a movie.
Yeah.
And it's a fake movie. And we ended up making a Christmas movie, a Christmas movie.
Yeah, we ended up making a Christmas movie that I remember thinking at the time, I absolutely think this could be a Christmas movie.
Yeah, that's the fun
I think this could be a Christmas movie. And we're not, I don't want to get too much into it because we did record it. So you never know. This could be something. I don't know what you're doing with all this. It could be a movie.
Yeah, hey, but spoil away. I don't care.
Okay, well, we had... It was really fun. It was a lot of fun, and It was really fascinating because my thing is to just pitch. And I threw so many bad ideas at you, and my favorite part was watching the light go out of your eyes when I'd be going down a really bad road, and I'd see you go, okay. Conan. Maybe, and we really had to act like we're going to pitch this in a meeting with executives. So sometimes you'd say, just don't do that whole run in the meeting with the executives.
Yeah, that's right.
That was really fun.
And you had to talk some actors off of some ledges and stuff
because
like
that's part of the game. Is every now and then you'd say, okay, now it's time to pick a disaster. Like there's a there's a kerfuffle, there's a problem. So you'd splay out other cards because there are all these different decks of cards, and I'd pick one out, and it would say, your actor has lost his mind and run off set.
Who was the bad egg? Woody?
Woody Harrelson was causing us some problems. Yeah.
Anyway, it's
which just I think the minute you draw the Woody Harrelson card, he's going to be causing problems.
Trouble.
We were shooting on location, but you sent me in to deal with Woody a bunch of times.
To deal with Woody and his issues.
And then also Jen Aniston was part of because that was one of the cards we drew.
Right.
And I was not allowed to speak to her.
Well,
that's a wise choice.
As a producer, we made some early decisions.
That was really funny.
Choice.
I remember it. I was just not allowed to.
It's very real.
You were so good. I could see why you're very good at what you did because you were very gentle with me. But you were like, Jordan.
Look, I was legitimately honored. I just knew if I could mine, that gold.
Yeah.
In this way, we got.
Yeah. It's like, okay. And we had, I think also Charlize Theron is in there. And you were saying like, I'll talk to them.
I'll talk to them.
Now, why don't you go talk to Woody? Woody's in the trailer. Go hang out with Woody and I'll deal with the ladies. And I'm like, all right, okay.
Yeah.
I still don't understand why I can't have dinner with them.
But I mean, all just out from in the context of all of these sessions I've done, it's just, I mean, that one is just going to live forever for me. It's like, holy shit, I just got to like movie improv with Conan. Basically,
that was fun.
It was cool.
It was really fun. We had a very good time. I wanted
Sorry to kill momentum with another compliment.
That's okay. He always fast forwards them or takes them out.
I take them right out. Yeah.
You know you've made it because you can sometimes probably, everybody, no matter what they've achieved, can still question, did I really get there? You have a rest area named after you on the Garden State Parkway. Now that, to me, that's fantastic.
I'm with you.
We arrested the suspect at the John Bon Jovi rest area.
I stand on the side of the road. I welcome people in to go, and I direct them to the men's room, the ladies' room.
You should be there to give people shoulder
I hand
massages.
them towels when they're washing their hands. You didn't wash your hands. Come back here.
Yeah. I also didn't realize that you guys played in I think it was '89. You played in the Soviet Union.
We did.
Which is absolutely unbelievable to me. Before the wall came down, you guys were there.
We were.
And I
lit the torch at Lenin Stadium.
Yeah, I would imagine, I mean, this is at a time when rock bands were not allowed to go into the Soviet Union. And I would bet that would be a very appreciative audience.
They were. Now you got to remember, the Soviet Union, if you even thought of having an album as we knew it, you would be imprisoned. There was kids that had lists on a piece of paper that were very small because if the KGB came up at that time, they would crumple and knead it.
Right.
So there was more security on the catering backstage than there was on any band's dressing room. Because they were like, if they see the Hard Rock Cafe's cheeseburgers and French fries, there will be a fucking riot.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, we're playing at this, festival with these other bands, and nobody gave a shit about that, because the security was truly, crying when they saw the kinds of food. So we went to the Soviet Union, and it was a part of a deal that my first manager, who was arrested for smuggling a lot of drugs and to whatever.
We've all done it.
So to keep him out of jail, I had to go to the Soviet Union. But that's another story.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
You can't just toss that off. So he was in a lot of trouble, and if you went to the Soviet Union, he would not be in
Crazy,
trouble.
I don't know how he did this, but my first manager got into some trouble with the law, honest to God, he was accused of smuggling, I don't know, some incredible amount of tons of marijuana into America.
If you're going to do something, go all out.
Like I'm
There's
talking
another
like
lesson
hundreds
today.
like a lot of dope. And somehow his plea bargain was to take, the young cute kid and throw him to the wolves and the judge. And then he says, and I've got an idea. We'll go to the Soviet Union and promote, peace and harmony and blah, blah, blah. And please, Your Honor, don't put me in prison. And so I had to go in the snow to the Soviet Union and say, we're coming. And he put a package together with some of his acts and some of his friends. And we went and played. It was a crazy story. He never went to prison.
Right. It's a good, happy ending.
Yeah.
He went on to move a lot more drugs.
Right. Crazy story, but true story.
So it's been 40 years, 15 studio albums. Is that right?
Yeah, at least, something like that. Yeah.
And like I say, the thing that I related to the most is, because I'm right there with you, somewhere vintage, is I'm always trying to find something I'm passionate about. And if I can find that, and I can find something that interests me, that's good enough. You know what I mean? Like that. And you have to really work at it. You have to keep trying. And I took a lot of inspiration from your documentary, because I thought this is a guy who has put in the work over and over and over again.
Thanks.
And yet somehow
it's good. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I could have been I don't know about you, but I could have been very comfortable. And I mean this, working at the auto body shop, or my father was a hairdresser. My mother had a little retail shop. I was very, very comfortable, confident in who I was and what my life could be. But I loved this thing, which was, singing in a rock band. And I'm the only one in my family that ever did it. It wasn't like we had a musical household, but that was my love. It wasn't I was drawn to it for celebrity. It's just, I just needed it in the morning.
Yeah.
So otherwise I really could have been happy. It's not driven by anything other than the sheer love of it.
When I meet young people, and especially in this age of the cell phones and the Instagram and influencers, and I meet people and they tell me they're interested in doing something. I say, well, what is it? And when they tell me that their interest is being famous, when that's the first thing they mention, I think, I don't know what that is, because that's a clear broth. There's no nutrients in that.
Nothing.
That's people in a restaurant looking up, seeing you, and then looking back down at their food for a second. You have to love the thing that you're doing, and that has to drive it.
I'm sure they love that thing that they're doing, but what exactly is it? I'd like to think that what we're trying to do is leave something behind. Mm-hmm. All the people that you made smile over the years is leaving something behind. You impacted all those people for generations now. Mm-hmm. Conan, you made people laugh. And that's a gift that you gave back. Looking hot in an Instagram picture is pretty shallow. I used to be.
I'd like to have both.
Well, I would love to have both.
I'd like to look so hot in an Instagram photo. It just doesn't look.
Yeah,
it's just this Irish face is collapsing in on itself. But I know what you mean is you leave. I've had. You're this very generous guy. He plays a lot of benefits. I think I've been at maybe 10 different benefits over the years where you've shown up and played. And when you're playing your music, just watching people jump up on their feet and sing along. And one of the coolest things I ever saw is I was standing near your wife, Dorothy, and I think you started to play one of your many hits, and she jumped up and started singing along. And I thought, my wife doesn't do that. My wife's like, whatever. You think he's funny? All right. But I love that, you guys have been together forever, that she seems like your biggest fan, which I thought was very cool.
Well, she's my most honest fan. She'll tell you when it sucks. It absolutely tells me when it's not good. So that's the best thing is, look, we've been together since high school, for God's sake,
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's a good thing. But she's no bullshit. She doesn't do the Insta either, so she don't care about that.
Yeah.
It's better to leave that all out there and on the stage. It's not what we bring home.
Now, I have to bring this up because I'm a very enthusiastic wine drinker.
Yeah.
And I know that you have you started a wine business, and you've come out with this rosé. And I'm bringing this up because apparently this thing is huge. This rosé is huge. It's called Hampton Water.
Hampton Water is really big. It's really my son's company. I get to be Santa Claus. I come in for the photo op.
And the tastings.
Everyone wants to sit on my lap and take a picture. and then HR comes in.
And by the way, thanks for letting me do that.
Exactly. I hope you enjoyed
security
as much as I did.
Yeah.
You weren't supposed to grind on my lap when you sat down with a picture.
It's when I started bouncing that you got upset. It's funny because this is a true story. Like, different, sometimes different singers or actors are associated with like a really cool liquor.
Right.
And I remember a couple of years ago, my manager was like, you got to get in on this. And I said, no one's going to buy a tequila or a whiskey because it's associated with Conan O'Brien. And he was like, well, we got to think of something. And I went, we don't really have to think of something. I'm fine. He's like, you're not thinking straight, Clooney. And he starts yelling about all the people who've made all this money. Probably shouted your name too. I'm telling you, John Bon Jovi's killing it. You got to do something. And and then he called me up later and he was like, hair pomade.
Now wait a minute.
And I was like, so you're the businessman here. Do you want to go in?
Yeah.
Because you've got
you
iconic.
And I have a history
you have
in the
iconic hair.
In the
yeah. I have hair it's a punchline, but it's gotten me through. And so I think let me know.
There's an opportunity.
I think people would get the Conan pomade.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I like the idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
can see the wheels turning right now.
I'm there.
You're going to call me later tonight, aren't you?
Yep.
And tell me it's a really stupid idea. All right. Well, I want to make sure I get the word out here.
Cool.
Check out Bon Jovi's new single, Legendary, as well as the 4-part docuseries, Thank You, Good Night, the Bon Jovi story, which I recommend because it's really a terrific document. And also just kind of, to me, a how-to of...
Well,
yes, you get the luck. You clearly were born with all these gifts, but then you made absolutely sure that that success had every opportunity to happen just through working your ass off.
No, thanks, brother. I appreciate it, and thank you for all the years of friendship. It's been great to see you and your audience today. But
I don't know who these people are. I want to say I was immediately upset when I saw you in the green room.
Why? I need a phone book.
I know. What is it? We're both sinking into these seats.
I
both like Mr. Burns. Yes, excellent. Yes. No, I know that we are a similar vintage. I think we were probably born around the same time. And all I ever do is I walk in the room. This is like the best looking man I've ever seen at any age group. And every day I look at my face in the mirror and it's a pumpkin rotting in the sun. I don't know what you're doing. You're drinking the blood of the living, but whatever you're doing, absolutely incredible.
Thank you very much. I'm older than dirt. I've earned this gray hair. At least you're still.
This is a wig. I just strap this on. It's just Velcro, and it goes on the back. Yeah,
that's me.
No, thank you so much for doing this. You've been very nice to me over the years. You came on the late night show, I think 7 times, which I don't.
You guys were incredibly supportive of the band. Thank you.
Yeah, and you were even crazy enough to invite Triumph along.
Yes,
it's one of the fans' favorite remotes. Is Triumph giving you guys endless amounts of shit? And I remember when Robert Smigel told me, they've invited Triumph, and I said, why would anyone invite him in? He was on the podcast, and he spent 15 minutes absolutely ripping me apart. And when he was done, I was laughing. As Triumph. He had the puppet there ripping me apart. And then when he was done, I was really laughing hard. But when I went home, there was blood in my urine. He attacks and you think you're having a really good time, and then you get home and realize, oh my God, he destroyed me. He absolutely destroyed me.
Triumph.
Yeah.
Classic. At MetLife Stadium. I mean, he didn't come, to a little club somewhere. We took him to the stadium.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I remembered seeing it. You guys were very good sports and fools, I think, to have him.
We loved him.
But I was talking to you backstage that I got to see this documentary about you, the band, how it all got started. And the first thing that struck me, which I could relate to, is how much things change. You get a little older and how much harder you have to work just to stay at the same level. And that's something you talk about. Like, your work ethic is absolutely insane and very admirable, because people think being in a rock and roll band and being a massive star would just be fun.
Of course it is.
Of course it's fun. Yeah, I got that from the documentary. You didn't have to work at all. You totally phoned it in.
Yeah.
But it's impressive, how much work you have to do.
Well, look, every kid thinks he's a singer because he's in the shower doing it, and then you can do it in a bar, and then you can even make a record. You make a record, now you've set the bar, and now you have to beat that record every fucking time.
You can watch the swearing a little bit.
Oh,
this is a podcast for children. Really,
kid show.
It's a kid show, 5 and 6 years old. Yeah, no, but it is, and it starts out with you doing all these vocal exercises, and you're just talking about 60. The band's been around 40 years. And you do all this work, and I don't even think fans, they're not supposed to know how much work you put into it.
Right. It's supposed to look easy.
Yeah.
But the harder you work, the luckier you get. And, on the other hand, I had an old adage, nobody loved the fat Elvis.
Right.
It's like, I don't want to go out like that. If I'm gonna die, it's gonna be, out there doing it the right way, or don't do it.
Right.
Just if you're not gonna do it, don't be the fat Elvis.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I disagree. I plan to really fall apart and hang around. I'm just hanging around, and we're constantly doing research that shows no one wants me anymore. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to eat these pork chops and get out there.
It's my microphone.
Just embarrass myself.
Yeah.
No, it is a real testament, and also. It is a great story. I think people should watch this because, like anything else, when you see everything that went into it, what I took away from it is you're this kid and you have music teachers in school telling you, yeah, you're not a singer. Everyone's telling you you're not a singer, and you just are like, yeah, no, I am. You'll see.
Right.
You just keep going in the face of a lot of adversity.
Give a kid a dream. It's dangerous. So it was as simple as that. And at the time, growing up in New Jersey was very different than being in Los Angeles or Manhattan or somewhere that had a big spotlight on you. We were in the shadow of the greatest city in the world, with New York City. We were close enough to greatness, but we could craft we could develop our chops. We could learn our craft. We could play other people's music and emulate them until the time when we got to that place where you felt that the hell with it, I'm going to jump off the diving board and see if I can swim. And so that was really important. The time, the late 70s, was a melting pot of great music that was happening. It was at a time when a DJ could influence an audience. They had an endless playlist and a microphone. And they could talk to the audience and say, check this out. And a band could break out of a city. It didn't have to be a national thing with a big, push behind it. So all of those things came together at a time for me that, but even by the time I was 18, I said, I can't play other people's music anymore. And at 18,
right. You were a cover band. You were in a cover band, and you're only playing other people's songs. And then you decide...
I'm 18.
Yeah, 18 years old.
That's enough.
And you decide, I'm going to start writing my own stuff.
Yeah.
And I have a decent imagination, and I've made my living off of what goes on in my brain. The one thing that is a complete mystery to me, and I've said this to a lot of my musical guests, is songwriting. It's completely magical. And you clearly have this great gift for it, but when you first start, how do you even know what you're doing?
You don't. But I've heard others say that, and it sort of mystifies me because I think, it's really not that hard. But I could never write comedy, or I could never write a script. Right. How difficult that would be to write a script and all of that dialogue with every, intention of each of the characters. But writing a song for me, it starts out very stupid and simple, and you're stealing from everybody, and then you're emulating your heroes, and then you're rhyming moon, June, and spoon. And with time...
Hey, I like that song.
That was a hit for me, by the way.
1987, it went to the top of the charts, yeah.
Until eventually you develop a voice, and then you're writing chapters in your own book.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what it is.
When you're looking at those old tapes, 85, 86, and what is it that hits you right away? Is it what you're wearing, the look?
Look, my baby pictures were public. Your audiences were not, so I have to live with that.
Yeah. I want to say I was immediately upset when I saw you in the green room.
Why? I need a phone book.
I know. What is it? We're both sinking into these seats. You both like Mr. Burns. Yes, excellent. Yes. No, I know that we are a similar vintage. I think we were probably born around the same time. Mm-hmm. And all I ever do is I walk in the room. This is like the best looking man I've ever seen at any age group. And every day I look at my face in the mirror, and it's a pumpkin rotting in the sun. I don't know what you're doing. You're drinking the blood of the living, but whatever you're doing, absolutely incredible.
Thank you very much. I'm older than dirt. I've earned this gray hair. At least you're still.
This is a wig. I can just. I just strap this on. It's just Velcro, and it goes on the back. Yeah,
that's me.
No, thank you so much for doing this. You've been very nice to me over the years. You came on the late night show, I think 7 times. Which I don't.
You guys were incredibly supportive of the band. Thank you.
Yeah, and you were even crazy enough to invite Triumph along.
Yes,
it's one of the fans' favorite remotes. Is Triumph giving you guys endless amounts of shit? And I remember when Robert Smigel told me, they've invited Triumph, and I said, why would anyone invite him in? He was on the podcast, and he spent 15 minutes absolutely ripping me apart. And when he was done, I was laughing. As Triumph. He had the puppet there ripping me apart. And then when he was done, I was really laughing hard. But when I went home, there was blood in my urine. He attacks, and you think you're having a really good time, and then you get home and realize, oh my God, he destroyed me. He absolutely destroyed me.
Triumph.
Yeah.
Classic. At MetLife Stadium. I mean, he didn't like come, to a little club somewhere. We took him to the stadium.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I remembered seeing it. You guys were very good sports and fools, I think, to have him.
We loved him.
But I was talking to you backstage that I got to see this documentary about you, the band, how it all got started. And the first thing that struck me, which I could relate to, is how much things change. You get a little older, and how much harder you have to work just to stay at the same level. And that's something you talk about. Like, your work ethic is absolutely insane and very admirable, because people think being in a rock and roll band and being a massive star would just be fun.
Of course it is.
Of course it's fun. Yeah, I got that from the documentary. You didn't have to work at all. You totally phoned it in.
Yeah.
But it's impressive, like how much work you have to do.
Well, look, every kid thinks he's a singer because he's in the shower doing it, and then you can do it in a bar. And
it's interesting to me that there's a bunch of people that could say, because you get on The Walking Dead and you're on it from the beginning, and it's such this iconic character you get to play, and you really nail it, and then famously you're killed not just once but twice. Oh yeah. Because you can't take John Bernthal out with just one. You've got to. Trust me, I've tried. This man will not die, and so. But you get off the series, and so there are a lot of people that might think, and then that's just obviously the series is just starting to gain momentum, and so there might be some people that would think, well, shit, I wish I could have stayed on for 10 years, 11 years. But actually, I think for someone like you, that frees you up. In its own way, it's a gift, because then you get to go on and do all these other things and show who you are and show different sides of yourself. So to me, I often think there are many times in my life where I've thought, damn it, it's over. It's over. I screwed up, it's over, or I wanted something to go my way, it didn't go my way, and I'm done. And I guess that's it. And then when I later on Google Earth and look at the whole picture, I realized that was the greatest thing that could have happened to me at that moment.
Of course. Yeah. It's always, I really try to exercise not calling it, not saying it's one way or the other. Sure, at the time, I was like, well, this is right. This is just in line with everything else that's ever happened in my life. It's like, here we are. I finally got on the show. It's finally taken off, and boom, they got me the hell out of there. Like, pack up your shit and go. And I remember going back to The Walking Dead to go pick up my truck. And I remember like walking out and seeing them sort of shoot this first episode that I wasn't going to be in. And I wanted to go say goodbye to everyone. And instead of saying goodbye, I just sat on this rock in the woods and just watched this beautiful sort of symphony of the barn was on fire and there were all these zombies. And I saw Norman doing his thing and Scott Wilson, rest in peace, just standing out on the, bellowing and just this beautiful, crew and these people. They were my family. And I saw them all working. And I just palpably understood that's I'm not part of that anymore. That's they're doing their thing. And I sat there and I weeped and I felt sorry for myself and I knew it was over. And look, the only thing I can look at with Walking Dead is just unbelievable, just full gratitude. Just full gratitude. Like what a privilege, what an honor, what a thing to play a character with a real beginning, middle, and end. But more than anything, Steven and Norman and Scott and Melissa and Irony and Sarah and Andy. I mean, these are like lifelong friends who really taught me how to be an artist and a father and a husband all at the same time, and to trim so much fat off your life and whittle it down. And those are the guys. I mean, those are my closest friends, you know, in this business. And I mean, you know those guys. I mean, they're beautiful human beings.
Yeah, I've interviewed I think I've interviewed everyone you've mentioned. They're great people.
Great people.
I would have handled that differently. I would have been sitting on the truck and watching them shoot a scene without me now that I'm gone, and I would have just started screaming, I don't fucking need you!
Ruining every take.
You needed me! And they'd be like, cut! Conan, can you please? You had 2 good years. And roll. Let's go. Action!
Can we get him out
of here? Fuck you! And then I'd do like donuts in my truck and be knocking over zombies. They'd be like, come on, man!
Right. Blaring some Danzig. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know, man. I'll say it. I just like, you know.
You'll regret this!
Yeah. And anyway, you know, like, I think it's also okay to feel a second of that pain or to wonder but yeah, looking back at it without a doubt, you know, doing that show was the best thing that ever happened to me in my career, and then I think getting killed off was the best thing that ever happened to me in my career, and I'm flabbergasted and grateful for all of it.
You talk about masculinity a lot. That comes up a lot. Does not come up on this podcast for reasons that still escape me. No, but seriously, John, like you talk about it, and I think you have. You have a great. It's a great vantage point you have, because you can talk about it from this place of having experienced, you know, or having experience with toxic masculinity, or people thinking that about you because of, you know, whatever difficulties you've had in the past, or the fighting or whatever. They can just think like, oh, this is the point of view this guy's going to be coming at me from. And then for you to talk about how that can be a toxic formula and is not the answer, gives you an authority in that. I think that other people, it gives you a power to talk about that subject that maybe other people don't have. You know
Look,
what I mean?
I don't know if I have any power in it, and I don't honestly with the sort of terms that people throw out there. I don't know. I'm no authority on that. I know that I'm a father, and I'm a father of 2 boys, and I know the kind of men that I want them to grow up to be, and the kind of young men I want them to be, and I know the kind of models of masculinity that I want them to see. And I think, you know, sometimes I've talked about this before. And I think sometimes it gets confusing, and I think that I don't know that I've ever been. I do believe in discipline. Mm-hmm. I'm somebody. My kids, you know, they practice martial arts. They know, you know, they know how to handle themselves in the woods. You know, I really think it's enormously important, not for them, but also just as equally important for my daughter to be able to defend themselves and to be able to handle themselves and to, like, these things are these sort of cornerstones of, I think, you know, classic masculinity are super, super important, but equally important is being kind, is being empathetic, is to stand up for somebody who has less rights than you, somebody who's being picked on, somebody who's being put into the corner, somebody who's just sad. Getting in touch with a side of them that's softer, having the courage to do that. I had a guy on my show that I've just learned so much from, a dear friend of mine named Kevin Vance, who's a Navy SEAL and a firefighter, and just one of the just this wonderful human being, and he talks about the code of the samurai and how they knew how to fight and they knew how to use swords and they were warriors, but they also had to get in touch with their quote unquote feminine side and their ability to do calligraphy and to dance and to cook and to garden, and that these things are all equally important and to be well rounded. But again, when it's confused with being hardened or being picking on somebody or again saying it's my way or the highway, to me that reeks of such fear and such insecurity.
Yep.
And it's a classic rule in the boxing gym. I've said it before. When you come into Steve Petromali's gym, you're gonna see.
Oh, I'm coming in.
I know you are,
and I'm coming in hard.
I know, man. Well. My point is that in any boxing gym in this country, you can see it. the guy who's the loudest, the guy with the brightest color clothes, the guy who's kind of, you know, dancing around.
That's me. That's all three.
Well, look, I think that will change because I think that is almost always the guy you don't need to worry about. But it is the guy who smiles at you and shakes your hand and nods and says, "Hey, man, you want to move a little bit?" Like, you got to deal with this guy.
I'm coming in wearing bright shamrock shorts.
Let's go.
And an actual peacock tail.
A peacock tail and a monocle.
I love it, man.
No, I'm. Listen, I want to make sure I help get the word out because your podcast is doing well. Real Ones is available wherever people get their podcasts, right?
Yeah, everywhere. Yeah, Spotify.
And John Bernthal, Real Ones, and it's very refreshing.
Thanks.
Because you're talking to real people about real things, and you do have the touch. You are able to connect with these people. I think that's very cool. And you know, if you ever need help out there in the world, you know, if you get into a tight corner and you need a guy to come in and swing these meat hooks around,
not him.
Don't call me.
Yeah.
Don't call me because I'm a terrible. I do not have your back.
I don't. Come on, man. That is beautiful. That is beautiful.
I'm being honest.
Yeah,
I wanted to end honestly.
I love it.
I'm a kicker. I'm a guy who kicks and then runs.
That's great.
Yeah.
A little scratch, maybe.
A slap. I can't make a fist, but I slap and then I run. I'm a slap and run guy.
I love it. Hello, my name is John Bernthal, and I feel extraordinarily lucky about being Conan O'Brien's friend.
That is really nice.
Yeah,
I like that. You know, I've always liked you. You came on our show a couple of times. We clicked, and I was all excited you were coming on the show, and then I suddenly had an attitude about it this morning.
An attitude?
Yeah, and I'll tell you why.
Tell me.
Because a guy who works here, Aaron Blair, we call him Blay.
Yeah.
It's just before you're going to be here, and everyone's excited that you're coming in.
Oh, boy.
Everyone here is a big fan.
Oh, man.
And I'm excited that you're coming in.
Everybody.
No, I'm excited that you're coming in. And then Blay says, "Yeah, he's just amazing. He said, you know, it's weird." And he wasn't doing a joke. He said, "Conan, in a lot of ways, he's your opposite." What? And I was like, "What?" And he went, "You know, because he's so cool, and he's like a real man's man." And I was like, "No, seriously."
Yeah,
and everyone in the room was like, "Yeah,
no.
yeah." He's like the alternate, and they meant it in the nicest way about you. And then I was like, "Shit, I think they're right."
I strongly disagree.
Listen, so I was just going to say, I was very tempted when you came in to fight you, but to wait until some moment when you were vulnerable. You know, I want to do it. I want to come at you when you don't expect it. I wanted Gourley to distract you, and I wanted to have like a large stick or something. So I was going to win in a completely and still you would have taken the broken stick out of my hand.
I don't know about that. You know what's crazy is I have these memories of doing your show, and you were so, you know, it's such a horrifying thing to do those shows, you know, when you're starting out, and you were so good to me. And one time I forgot my shoes. I don't know if you have it. You probably have no memory of that, but you gave me your own personal shoes. They were way too big, and I wore them on the show. And you were so good to me. And then you left with my fucking shoes.
Dude, man, and ever since then, and you wear them even as the Punisher. Right? You were wearing my shoes, which didn't even fit the character.
They really
That's not what Frank Castle would wear. And I was like, why the fuck is he wearing my shoes?
But I remember seeing you at, I think it was at one of these Hollywood, I never go to these things, but it was at Lizzie Kaplan's birthday party.
Yes.
Like on the
great
the
Lizzie Kaplan.
The best in the world. And I
so
love
smart,
Lizzie. And
so funny, yeah.
And I saw you there, and I was literally like, I've been on your show, can I go say hello to you?
What?
And I didn't.
Yes.
I was too shy to do it, man.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
So there it goes for Blay or whatever his name is. Nah, man.
He's right over there in the corner.
Oh, that's you, dude. Nah, man. Me and him are the same. I'm as insecure as they get, man. I was like, shit, I wish I could go. And I literally was one of those like, should I, shouldn't I, should. And I totally
okay, so
went
John,
down.
here's how one of the ways we're different. Just before we started rolling on this, we were chatting, and the conversation started to get really good, and I thought, wait a minute, why aren't we rolling yet on this podcast? That's how fun it is to talk to John. And I was like, we gotta get going on this. We gotta start rolling. And the reason I wanted to start rolling is that you were telling a story that I can't tell.
Yes, I
You
am.
were telling a story about being at the day before a wedding.
Oh, at Sean Carey.
And you got hit.
Yep.
You got into a fight and someone hit you with a bar stool from behind. Guess what? I don't have a story like that.
It's not. But look, by the way, just to be clear, I was trying to break up a fight, and I got hit over that. We were talking about doctors and getting hurt on things like motorcycles when you make bad decisions.
Yep.
And I will never forget. We had gotten into a fight. There's a lot of ex-pro fighters or pro fighters in Sean's family, and I was trying to break up the fight, not fight. And a guy hit me from behind with one of those outdoor bar stools, and I got knocked out for a second, and I had to get all these staples across my head, and they shaved that part of my head, and I had all this dried blood because I couldn't shower, and then I had to do my best man speech looking like freaking Frankenstein. But I will never forget the look of disgust in the doctor's. I went there to be treated, and it was just like, you fucking idiot. Like I have to spend my time.
He was mad at you.
Of course he was, because I'm out there, probably he thinks I'm talking smack at a bar, and he probably thought I totally had it coming. And, I tried to sort of, sell my side of the story to him. He wasn't interested at all.
But John, you don't understand. You have a story about breaking up a bar fight. By the way, if a bar fight breaks out, I don't break it up, okay? I run and I start swiping for an Uber, okay? All my stories that involve going to the hospital revolve around the medication they prescribed. I put a little too much cream on my hand. Slightly raised reddish area. And yours is, man, I'm trying to break up a bar fight. I get hit with a stool.
Yeah,
that's how we're different. I've got to be more like you.
I think you would have done the same thing.
Teach me to be like you.
Oh no, man. Oh no,
Please.
You teach me, man. I'm not the least bit proud of that. But I will say that, doctor, I could feel the palpable disgust, and that is why I do ride my motorcycle. And my wife did sort of make a deal with me years ago. She said it's either boxing or the motorcycle. And that day, I rolled my motorcycle down the street, and I gave it to, there was a guy, old Phil, who lived down the street, an old Army vet. I gave him my motorcycle. But now, because of that bar stool, I get such terrible headaches when I box. I've quit sparring and I've quit mixing it up in the ring. So I'm back to the motorcycle now. But I am so afraid that if I do get hurt, the doctor is going to look at me with that same level of disgust, because this is a decision that I made myself. You understand?
Right. Stop going to that doctor.
Maybe this doctor's like this with everybody.
You think that's right?
Yeah, maybe when a 75-year-old woman comes in and says, I think I have chest pains. You disgust me.
Weakling.
You
suck it up.
With your weak third ventricle.
Lupus, how dare you?
You've got great style. That is something that eluded me. A lot of writers get, especially from my era, we all of us owned 2 shirts.
Yeah.
We looked like shit. We lived in shitty apartments. You, one of the great comedy writers, certainly of your generation, of all time, you always, it seems like you know how to dress. Where did you know how to dress? When did you know how to, you always look good. You're a sharp
very
dresser.
Nice of you to say.
Don't you think that that's true?
Absolutely.
I mean, always.
So I'll tell you this story. The first time I ever came to New York, I was 13. I was with my dad. And we're walking around downtown New York. And two memories that meant a lot to me, both just how to comport yourself as a person. This guy's coming down the street that my dad had done a deal with. And the guy had been super unethical. So he walks up and he goes, "Hey, Chip Mulaney." And my dad goes, "I'm not shaking your hand." And we keep walking. And he goes, "I didn't mean to do that in front of you, but that man was very unethical in a deal we did." I thought, I've never seen anything so badass in my life.
Wow, that's great.
Just, I'm not shaking your hand, and walk away. Because my parents always were talking about being nice and polite and friendly and neighborly. So I just like the boundary of, I'm not just one man. It's why I love lawsuits. One man dressing down another.
Yeah.
One man excoriating another. So then we go to NYU Law School. My dad wants to see a classroom that's been dedicated to a federal judge that he once clerked for, this guy, Ed Weinfeld, who had passed away by then. So we walk up into the law school, and there's a security desk, and there's a student who has misplaced their ID, and the security guard is giving them a ton of shit. Well, I can't let you back in. You can't get into the library without. And my dad's wearing just a jacket and tie just because. And we just walk right past the security guard. And as we're walking up the stairs, my dad doubles back and looks at me and goes, "The power of dressing well." And, and
so do you think that's maybe where it came from?
Yeah, I think so. I wear like a tie sometimes at home so that my kids think. I mean, like it's a bit put on, obviously. I don't need to be wearing it.
But I understand it's become your aesthetic is attached somewhat, I think, to the work you're doing. Like you are a sharp dresser. I think you have the best word choice. That your choice of words is better than other comedians, and I think the whole thing is I'm
laughing at what he's doing.
I know. I think it's connected. I think it's connected. I do think it's connected. I think you put things together in a very thoughtful, crafted way, and it's all of a piece. Like it makes sense to me that you dress as John Mulaney.
Yeah. I will say I am genuinely very comfortable in the things I wear. And if I were more comfortable I am often not comfortable like in jeans and New Balance and like, I don't know, what would Ray Romano wear?
An $8 Casio watch.
I don't mean to name names, but what would
a plebeian like Ray Romano wear?
As I went feet up, I was like, open shirt. Who am I seeing here? Modern day Ray Romano.
People ask me a lot about genius. I don't know why. I don't know what it's about me. A real genius always seeks out the nerds. That's the common thing is nerds. I mean, this is why I go to you all the time, David.
Thank you.
Seriously, because you know how to like do things on the phone and order things online. I don't know that
it's usually
world.
Simple stuff you can't.
Yeah, make tea.
Yeah.
NerdWallet, that's what I'm talking about. NerdWallet's going to find the right credit card or auto insurance for you in minutes. Their team of nerds has done the research so you don't have to. Just answer a few simple questions and you'll be matched with the right financial product for you.
That's great.
They have only nerds working there. Every now and then a jock will try and apply.
Oh.
And they say, "Go no further. You are banished from our realm."
I feel like you would thrive working for them.
Yes, I would. Go to nerdwallet.com to finance smarter today. After all, letting NerdWallet do the work is more than smart. It's genius. Terms and conditions apply. Credit products subject to lender approval. See nerdwallet.com for details. Jocks need not apply.
No, but I feel more comfortable doing it. You always dress very nice.
I learned over time to
when
dress.
I was a writer at SNL, I wore the same thing every day.
Yeah.
Because I heard Obama had dark gray and dark blue suits with a red tie or a blue tie. So he never had to think about what to wear.
Right.
So I got a ton of gray heather 50-50 cotton t-shirts from American Apparel and then khaki pants from J. Crew. And I would wear that, and if it was cold, I'd wear a blue crew neck sweater. And it's the only thing I wore for like
it's very interesting
4 years.
When I started, which is 85, the old guard, the old timers at that point were people that worked on counterculture television, and they were all they would go up into their office and smoke pot. They wore, out of pride, T-shirts and ripped jeans. And I remembered thinking, that's not me.
Yeah.
I hadn't quite figured out who I was, but over time I saw the value of, I don't want to look like a bum. And also when I had kids, I liked looking like a dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I liked, for some reason, come in and I've got, I would wear sometimes my tie from work home, and they would see that when I worked, I was dressed up. And I thought, I want them to have that idea of what a dad is.
That's really funny.
Someone who is supplied Tom Brokaw's suits by NBC and wears makeup when he comes home.
Yeah, like a dad. Yeah. Having a lot of bass on.
Yeah. A lot. Eyeliner.
Yeah.
Well, the show, which I really love, Everybody's Live, it drops live on Wednesday nights. Is that correct?
Yeah, Wednesday night live. March 12th, we started. We're done May 26th.
And it's really fun, if you can, to watch it
If you can.
If you can watch it live. If it's in your schedule.
Oh, sorry. I thought it's really fun if you can watch it. You know, I thought you were speaking in general. I was like, you can, just a hard plug would be nice at this point. If you don't mind, check out one episode.
A lot of people don't have access to television. You know that.
Oh, right. Shame
it's
me.
Only for the 1%.
Shame me at the
whatever. You're in a bubble. So yeah. I guess.
Yeah.
Everyone go out and buy a new television.
Let me tell you something. When I see you on the street in New York, I'm not shaking your hand.
You don't like the way I've comported myself.
No, yeah.
Wait, this is your lawsuit. Here you guys go.
Hey, here we go. Nah, that's not it. No, I think we need to.
It can't be. It can't be defamation. It needs to be over the rights to something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to sue you for that.
You could sue him, honestly, being like,
there's no
what the
shortage
show
of things.
became.
Yeah.
Was we were integral to it. You know, the way because he'll be like, nah, it's my show. I do whatever I want with it. You know, he's the Don Henley. He's the malcontent.
Yeah.
But you guys are the Don Felders.
You're Don Felder.
And Joe Walsh.
And I can just...
Schmidt.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave you behind. And then you say, no, I was in the room when you came up with
Hotel
California.
That's what you should say. I was in the room and I contributed content essential to the creation of the work.
Hey, you were in the room when I said, do you think it'll fit?
Oh.
You know,
you can fit it in. Right?
You fit it in.
Yeah.
See, no one wants credit for that.
And you were in the room and you want credit for that.
Yeah, you were integral to that.
I both want credit for it and I feel sexually harassed. So I'm going to sue you from both sides.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you go, sir, because we've...
Nice to see you, man.
You know what? You're one of my favorites.
You're one of my favorites.
You're as a person and as a maker of things.
Thank you.
I one of my all-time favorites. And I
love you very much as a person, and it's really nice to see you. And I've been thinking about you a lot. So
wow.
I hope.
Thank you so much.
Life is good. You seem good, which is great.
Just before I went out to do the Oscars, I got a lot of texts from a lot of people. You sent me one of the most meaningful texts I've had in my life of a quick text of encouragement. The eggplant emoji. And said, I hope you can fit it in.
I hope you can fit it in. You know what that means, right?
No, I don't. I don't know what it means. Why would I violate myself with such a vegetable? No, you sent me an email, a text, and it. I'm not kidding when I say it gave me like a 20% boost of confidence. So seriously, thank you very much.
I'm glad it meant something. You're the best. We were so excited. It was so exciting to watch that show with everything going on in the world. And I don't know, for it just felt during that, it was like, because it's a bad time in the world and no one saw any of those movies. And but for that show, it was like things seem happy and positive, and we're acting like everyone saw these and we know what they are. You know what I mean? We're like, oh my God, it won, that won, that's great. Fucking no one saw a thing, right? No one saw a thing. But you really did put on a show that said, this is a cool night and we're going to have fun.
Yeah.
And that sounds like a very simple thing, but as we were talking about comedy that is like just not quite always messagey, it's harder to do.
All right. Well, listen. Thank you for saying that. Go work on your show and keep enjoying it, because I can tell you're having fun. And when you're having fun, you're golden.
Thank you, man.
Go in peace.
Go in peace.
I want to say something else. We've talked about this subject. There's another thing that you talk about, which is likability. I know that you sometimes, and I really love it when you break into song.
Sure. Sure.
Well, don't say sure. That means...
No, this is good. It's a good way to show you're listening, is to say little things while someone's talking.
Well, how do we know that we're not just dropping those in?
Them, yeah.
You know what I would love to do is record John doing little things like, yes, well, of course,
sure.
yes. Yeah. And then drop those into other people's.
Of course.
Anyway, I would do a thing sometimes over the years in front of the writers where I couldn't say something to them about how I didn't like a sketch or what the flaw in the sketch was, but I could start singing a song, and the song would very specifically, it would be a very chipper song, but it was the lyrics were improvised, and it would then very specifically get into what was wrong with the sketch.
Oh, no.
And it was like a spoonful of sugar.
It's musical passive aggressive.
It's incredibly passive aggressive, but the song would keep going and I would commit to it 100% and people would be chanting along and then realize that they had just had some, there was some lead in that drink.
Right.
There was some, I don't know what that is, but
it was You're Born in the USA.
What's that?
It was You're Born in the USA.
Yes.
Behind that driving beat.
Reagan said, oh, well, you know, we'll use that as my song. And then he hadn't listened to the lyrics.
And I hadn't listened, no.
Yeah.
They were critiquing his sketch.
Yes. So my question is, I've seen you do that and I really like that. And I love the whole idea of being able to communicate truth by just singing a song about what a waste of time Webster Hubble reference was and how we won't recover, how we won't recover. You know what I mean? And then it's just, it comes out that way in song.
I'm the guy who makes references all the time, but when Mulaney makes references, I shit on them and I burn my stuff with old references all the time. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. Just like that. You can edit, right?
I won't, but I can.
No, okay. End right where I did.
I won't.
And then put in a cheers
I'll
and then
start
edit
there.
out the part where
I won't do
Mulaney
it.
comes right back at me. And it's like Edith Bunker saying, maybe you're the meathead.
No, what
and
I'll
the crowd
probably
goes
do is
crazy.
edit in that time. Multiple times you referenced Tova Borgnine, Ernest Borgnine's wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a bad divorce.
Did they?
Tova and Ernest?
Yeah.
Really? Right?
He divorced her because her forearms were bigger.
Wow.
Add more laughter there.
I can't do it.
And then some silence, and then music, and then more laughter. Okay.
Or was Ernest Borgnine divorced from Shelley Winters? Maybe I'm wrong.
Shelley Winters.
Maybe
I
he stayed married to
He
Tova.
stayed married to Tova.
Okay,
yeah.
great.
Well, were they married? Didn't they do Poseidon Adventure together? Were they,
Shelley Winters?
Who am I thinking? Debbie Reynolds. Sorry.
No.
Shelley Winters is in Poseidon
Yeah,
Adventure.
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Were they married at the time?
Is Ernie in that?
Isn't he?
Ernest Borgnine is in that.
Okay.
He plays, Ernest Borgnine is...
Let's go to Sona.
I doubt it's
Sona,
after
I
they broke
actually,
up.
no joke, I think I remember seeing the Poseidon Adventure. I think they were married in it.
Yeah, he's a...
I think the two,
he's
Shelley
like
Winters and
yes.
Ernest Borgnine are married to
In
each
the
other.
movie, that's what
in
I
the
meant.
movie.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. And then they're both in the movie. They're both in the movie, and they're married. And I think he's like a retired police detective or police captain.
Okay.
I believe.
You're welcome.
Nicely done.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
Sona finally made a reference that I get.
All right. Okay.
Okay, let's just take it easy.
Just
and
relax.
Everyone,
Just relax.
let's put the knives away.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
Your attack on me, I think, was completely unfounded. You know, my life has changed so much, Sona.
Has it?
Yeah, let me tell you how. I can just get all this stuff delivered right to my door. I mean, if you grew up when I did in the early 1920s, that was unheard of, you know? A kid in a cap had to, hey, boy, you know, and you'd say, yes, sir, and you'd have to say, toss him a coin. Go get me that goose in the window. And he'd say, yes, sir, Mr. Scrooge. But that was like back then.
Yeah, but now it's not.
With so much of our world digitized and automated, why stick to old school mailing and shipping? If you mail or ship often, let Stamps.com do the hard part for you. Simply print postage and shipping labels right from your home or office. It's ready to go in minutes. No long lines or complicated setup required. It's the easiest, Sona.
It's the best.
Yeah, postage rates just increased again. Hello. Luckily, Stamps.com has the best discounts in the industry. Avoid the hassle and get started with Stamps.com today. Sign up at Stamps.com/Conan for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a free digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com/Conan. But you talk about likability. That's something I think about sometimes. Clearly, it's so
Sometimes?
Well, it's funny because people that I clearly on the podcast have shed my concern for likability, but
Yes, you have.
yeah, but I'm saying I
I mean, in a good way. You have. Yeah.
I
You've
mean,
shown how mean you can be.
oh please, I don't think mean. I think
Yes.
bravely honest is the way I would call it.
No, it's like you're
A monster.
you changed up pitches and you're like, oh, the whole time he's been mean.
Yeah.
well, we could have.
We all knew.
Which is the big reveal for every comedian. Oh, they have contempt for so many people and so many things. Oh, that's the big. Did you guess what? That's everyone's rosebud is a sled that says kind of mean.
Yes. Yeah, I don't.
Take a second.
Yeah.
To think about the sled.
just to collect yourself.
I'm really rattled.
Yeah, you're shaking up a lot.
Yeah, this has been a huge revelation for me.
How about that funny waiter we had at dinner a few months ago?
Which waiter? I don't even
Bel
look
Air
at
Hotel.
I don't even look at.
Remember how
those
funny that
people.
waiter was? He gave you the bill. You nicely treated me to dinner, and he said, and you said, and I'm not leaving a tip. And he said, sir, I'm expecting something absolutely amazing.
That's true.
He had like Bob Balaban timing.
Yes, he had perfect timing.
Yeah, he was great.
He was very good. I forgot. We had a good time, didn't we?
We had a
Did we
great
see
time.
any famous people that
We
night?
saw John Mellencamp from a distance.
I didn't see him. He was blocked.
I saw him. I saw his profile. We saw, and we knew the guy he was with.
That's right. We did know.
I had a large gum abscess worked on that day, so my face had like a golf ball in it.
People in the restaurant thought I had struck you.
I know, it really did look like
did
that.
look
My
like
face
I had
was
roughed up
swollen up,
John
but
Mulaney.
it didn't hurt, and I didn't want to cancel dinner because he's so hard to get to nail down plans with. Ever since he got married, yeah.
Oh, really?
When I knew him pre-Liza, it was like we were like,
The times we had.
oh yeah, we were
Insane.
like Bert Schneider and
Dip Kibler.
yeah,
Yeah.
we were like BBS. We were like those guys.
No, we were.
What is
They used to call. Seriously, they used to
okay.
call us the Wolf Pack.
Oh,
And
right.
it-
Two of you.
Well, there was another. I don't know if they want to mention we should mention the name on mic. It's your call more than mine.
You go. You say it.
No, I know.
Come on, we know it's Tova Borgnine.
It is not Tova Borgnine. But it was you, me, Alex Trebek, who's not around anymore.
He's not around anymore. Yeah.
Well, he's not. He's.
That's a good way to say it.
Well, I'm sorry, he's not.
We were young. We had fun.
We had
That's what
so
I
much
say.
fun.
Yeah.
I tore it up. And there are whole areas of New York I can't go to anymore.
Right.
We'd close out Jones on 3rd.
Yeah.
It's a lunch place. No,
Yeah.
people around the world.
Very
people around the
calm.
world. That's a calm lunch place.
It's real
Yeah.
chill.
Bunch of Southern Californians
Nice.
here.
It's lovely.
No,
Yeah.
whatever. But then, yes, I got married and I settled down. And then you were like a baby about the whole thing.
I stomped my feet at the wedding.
He did. He did a full-on Rumpelstiltskin. He was going up and down,
Jumping up
and down.
Stomping in dirty cowboy boots.
A little cloud raised up.
Yeah.
But when you realized that I had this mean streak, did it endear you to me, or were you disgusted?
No, I knew the first time.
Those are the only two choices.
It endeared me to you. But when I would do stand up on late night, I got to meet you I got to meet you on the show, and then I got to talk to you after. And you were talking about you were shitting on the other guests to me. I was thrilled.
Yeah.
You said it was like wrestling a cat trying to get an interview out of someone. And I
Yes.
love to know that you had great contempt for your other guests.
Oh yes. No, I think it's almost you'd need to be lobotomized to interview people every single night and just be delighted by everybody. It's not possible.
No, and you were
But also, I knew I could talk to you about
yes,
it.
immediately that was quite an honor to me, is that you felt you could say nasty things about other people to me, which you could, and you can.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
It's one of the greatest gifts you can give a young man that you're mentoring.
It's to let him know.
It's to let him know just
how small you are on the inside.
what a little
little prick you are.
yeah, what a nosy neighbor gossip you are. Do you have good neighbors? Do you have nosy neighbors that snoop?
I have nosy neighbors that know that Liza's a witch
Oh
because
no!
they've been peering through the hedges. Yeah. Wait, no, but I love people. Then there are people that are able to, our mutual friend who we both adore, Martin Short, he's so mean. He can be so mean and incisively mean about people and situations and gossipy, but he also has incorporated that into his onstage.
Oh my God! No one's done it better.
And no one's done it better. And he's so. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think aren't all comedians mean? Sorry, I mean there seems to be a mean streak in.
Mean meaning not cruel.
Yeah.
If there's a joke,
How would you describe it? Actually,
like
I'm too.
if you're with a group of comedians
Yeah.
and they can make a joke about you that's mean, but they'll know it'll get a laugh, they'll do
They'll
it.
do it 10 times out of 10.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I was gonna say.
Nate Bargatze once described doing stand-up for people that don't know what stand-up is. He did it at award thing for his father, and he said they don't know I'm a comedian, so it just seems like a mean speech. And it is. It's like you have these prepared remarks where you're shitting on products and people and the city you're in, and it really is. That's all it is. It's just a mean speech.
So someone did a mashup online of all the times Marty's come on the late night show, and he would always do the same thing. He'd come out, and the first 10 minutes, which was just delightful and delicious for me, was him tearing into me with all these prepared, beautiful jabs, and really going to town. And I would just be dissolving, just a pile of mush. I was so happy. And then we'd move on. And someone put together a mashup of all of the best Marty roasts of Conan, and it's online somewhere. And Marty, who I hung out with recently, said that he went online because someone told him, it's really funny, Marty, you got to check it out, and it's had a lot of clicks. So he went online to look at it, and the first comment was, doesn't he know Conan could tear him fucking limb from limb?
Oh my God.
Like, he's 6'4". Don't you? And Marty was just like, what? Like, Conan's just barely restraining himself. No!
Doesn't he know he could tear him?
Doesn't he know he could tear him limb from limb? But Conan's just showing great restraint.
Great grace.
Yeah.
Everyone, even true?
Everyone in the studio audience was always going, wow, Conan is showing great grace to this petty little man.
This petty little elf is just taunting Conan. But Conan, with his coiled steel muscles.
Keep it up, Short. He'll be using your hands for ashtrays.
I don't know. It just was like, oh, okay, that's the essence of not understanding. I would like to make one thing clear, because we're talking about how mean we are. I have to say it. I'm not mean to anybody out in the world that I encounter.
Oh, right.
And I'm serious.
We were all holding like, you're not mean to...
No.
Yeah,
I am...
To strangers.
When I feel...
Do we feel this is lost on any... I mean, I don't
No, I do.
No.
Because I'm going to hear about it. I'm going to hear like, hey, so apparently you're the worst guy that ever lived. And I'm like,
now
well, no.
I'm back to your neighbors. Who are you around that's going to yell these things at you? You always get the paper on the front lawn and people yell things?
I do. I go and I walk out like Tony Soprano, and I get the paper.
Yeah.
I'm always in the same robe that Tony Soprano. I bought it from the Gandolfini estate.
Hey, more travel shows, less interviews, Conan.
Yeah. Stick to what you're good at.
The travel stuff is working.
I like the travel stuff. More stuff with the guy Jordan. Is he even real? Yeah. I just want to say you're a very... I want to clear up that you're a very nice fellow with a...
That's nice of you to say. I think
with a cold black heart.
We have such an outlet for our anger and disdain that most of the time we're very even keel and nice, I'd say.
Yes. That's an accurate statement, I believe.
Agree. I would absolutely agree.
I think I've been kind to you when people were watching. God. Sona, when people are looking, I'm kind to you.
No, you're not. You're not.
Oh, right. You're right.
You're brutal to her on this show.
On the show.
Right.
You were brutal to me on camera when you had your late night show.
But occasionally I'll notice that we're in public and I'll do some performative nice thing if I think someone might see it.
No.
I'm saying if I think people are watching, I'm good at replicating kindness.
No.
Isn't that a great thing?
Yeah.
Well, what about you? Have you made progress in caring about whether people care about you?
Listen to yourself.
Have you made progress?
Get it out.
No, I'm serious.
Have you made progress in caring about?
No, about what people think about.
About what people think about me?
Yes,
I have made progress. I'd be lying if I said it didn't bother me at all what people think about me. But I've made a lot of progress.
Right.
Yep.
That is, I would say,
the cycle's also shorter now.
Yes.
Oh my God, I said the wrong thing. Those people probably hate me. No, they probably don't. They probably give me the benefit of the doubt. Over.
Yes. That helps me because I think I've made similar progress in that way. I used to worry too much. And if you had asked me 10 years ago, what's one thing you would change about yourself? I would say I would very much like to not care what people think of me.
Yeah. Even today coming in, I saw Andy, then I saw Jeff Ross. Mm-hmm. And 5 years ago, I would have gone, I'm going to say hi, but they don't want to talk to me. They have stuff to do. They're annoyed they have to talk to me. They're annoyed they have to talk to me. They're annoyed they have to talk to me. And now I walk in, I'm annoyed to talk to them.
And you should be.
The shoe's really on the other
You're
foot.
John Mulaney now.
I'm not submitting writer packets to Jeff Ross anymore. I don't give a shit.
No. Well, first of all, you should never have been submitting writer packets to Jeff Ross. What'd you think, Jeff? Pretty good. It seems like it's typed.
I was giving them to Frank Smiley. Was that not the right guy to go to?
Frank Smiley.
Frank Smiley.
Yeah, but he shouldn't have been submitting a writer packet to him either.
I was giving them to Dan Blyer and props.
I think your approach was all wrong.
All right. That's why I didn't get the big gig.
I submitted 3 packets to that fire
That's why I
extinguisher.
didn't get the 6.
I don't understand what happened. What's with that fucking fire extinguisher?
At 30 Rock, or was it 50 Rock, knew I gave her explicit instructions. These are my ideas, ma'am. Deliver them to Mr. O'Brien.
You're at a dental hygienist's office. These go to Conan O'Brien.
Do you care what people think about you less as you get older?
Yes.
Yeah.
I still care, but I care less.
Yeah.
Because I know that I'm just going to go away, crumble, turn to ash. It'll all be
that's
over.
not. How do you really deal with it? Don't do a bit.
Don't do a bit?
Don't do a bit about how you deal with it.
How I deal with what exactly? Let's talk about it. Death or criticism?
No, how you deal with whether you think people like you or not.
Well, I've talked about this before.
I do a bit actually. This is
no. I'm I guess what I do.
There it is. All right, go. Sorry, I cut you.
No, I've mentioned this a couple of times before, but when I was a kid, I wrote E.B. White a letter, and he wrote me back. And in his return letter...
In a spider web he wrote it?
He wrote it in a spider web. You just had to do it, didn't you? You just had to do it.
With a goddamn pig?
This is from the guy that lectured me. Let's hear the real story, Conan, and no bits.
Let's hear the real story. I didn't say I wasn't going to do bits.
Oh, that's true. You never agreed to that.
Never.
Anyway, his response was...
What was your letter to him saying?
Well, I could only deduce that from reading his return letter because it was so many years ago. But... and since then, the E.B. White Foundation has found the letter. But anyway, he says in it, he says some nice things about my letter, and then he says, as for your question, if you're concerned about criticism, you're going to have a tough go as a writer, because I was telling him I was interested in writing. And
but you wanted no criticism. I need a very long leash.
I know. I'm telling you, this is what I was worried about, was being criticized. I said, I don't handle criticism very well. I'm afraid of it. And he was basically telling me, you need to get over that. I'm going to die soon, and you're going to be a talk show host anyway. You're never going to be a writer of note.
You'll pivot away from writing as soon as you can.
As soon as you can, and squander it in a foolish medium. So that's what, I know that it was near and dear to my heart. And I'm not going to lie, though. I think if someone has the wrong impression of me, it's hurtful. Mm-hmm. But as you go on, I think, as you know, when you have kids, things change a little bit.
Everything
I think having kids is a huge reset, because you think, well, as long as they're okay, then...
Yep, there's that. And also, I was like, oh, I've met the person. I now know the person that I want to make laugh, and... the only, it's not the only, I like other people in my life, but if there's someone's eyes I want to see light up, it's his, my son, when I get home. So yeah, it does. And all my anxieties are poured into him as well, in a good way, I think.
Yeah.
And also, being a parent's made me dumb. So my thoughts are extremely simple, and they're just kind of on a 20-month-old level. And that has made me 1,000 times happier.
Are you funny to a almost 2-year-old?
Very. Yeah. And I am phenomenal at baseball to him. I can hit a baseball far that you wouldn't believe how far I can hit a wiffle ball. He has said things like, whoa. Uh-huh. And Dad, I do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember, I think it was maybe it was my daughter when she was like 2 or 3, watching me sink some baskets and seeing her face think, he's maybe the greatest athlete that's ever lived.
I'm just picturing you bringing her in a stroller to a public court in New York City.
Yeah.
And then you stand at the free throw line taking shot after shot.
I taped. She was in the sun, and there's a little thing that a little hood that you can pull over, but I didn't do it because I thought it would obscure her view of my shots. And the fact that I made 2 out of 11 impressed her, and then she was very sick from heat stroke. Yeah. But the point is, I'm a really good guy.
No, I can't even think past. Yeah, I used to spin out about so many things, and I used to want to be so clever and wanted to be this curated little prick. And I now have nothing in my head except, yeah, Malcolm, do that. All right, yeah. Baseball. He wakes up. He wakes up at 4:50 a.m. Every night when he goes to bed, I go, "What time are you going to wake up?" And he goes, "7," and we both laugh. And then he goes, "Deal." We say deal, and then we shake. And then he gets in bed, wakes up at 4:50. I unzip him at 4:50. This happened 2 Wednesdays ago, and he goes, "Baseball!" Immediately, I go, "You want to play?" He goes, "Game." So I take him out. Get him out of his sleep sack. Now he and I are in the front yard, 5:10 a.m. in pajamas and jackets. And I take the ball and I put it on the tee. And he's holding a wiffle ball bat and he goes, 2 bats. So I hand him another bat. Now he has 2. Then I had to buy a third because when we play, he likes 2 bats. So I need mine. I put the ball on and he goes, "Dad, I do." And I go, "Dad, I do." I smack that wiffle ball so far. And he goes, "Yeah, good job." I go, "Yeah, good job." I put a ball on for him. And I go, "Malcolm, do that." He goes, "Yeah, Malcolm, do that." And he hits the ball, which means he hits his hand holding the bat against the tee, and the ball falls off.
Sure.
And I go, "Yeah, good job." He goes, "Yeah, good job. Malcolm, good job." And we're just 2 morons at 5 in the morning. The floodlights are like ring camera lights are going off. It's so early.
The way he's saying baseball makes it sound like he wants to, makes it sound like he wants to bet on baseball.
Oh yeah. Like
baseball, we bet on baseball.
He came from a time machine to bet on baseball.
Yes, as we all did.
Like a big thing for me now is I used to need so much to feel any kind of happiness in the day. If I see a garbage truck with him now, we're both so psyched. It's like seeing a celebrity. We hide behind a garbage can and we watch it like in awed silence, like we're 2 women who see Courtney Cox at the Grove. We just walk barefoot, still in pajamas and jackets, following the garbage truck, holding wiffle ball bats.
And you look at the thing come out and grab the can. Yeah, I love that.
No one impersonates a garbage truck better than me in my son's eyes.
In your son's eyes.
And he goes, shik-shik-conk. Now, at home, you can yell garbage truck all day long. That's something you yell, like, if you get into water and it's cold. You go, yeah, garbage truck! But when you're following the garbage truck, he and I have never discussed this, but we have a mutual understanding. You do not yell garbage truck at the garbage truck. Like, that would be disrespectful.
Yes. There's an etiquette.
There is some strange unspoken etiquette
there's
to
a
garbage
code.
truck.
Yeah. Yes. And he understands that.
Yeah. So I'm a bad interview these days, and I'm not as fun to talk to at parties because everything's so simplified, both loving my son and being on his level.
If this is a bad interview, then I wish all my interviews were just dreadful.
Oh, how kind.
Can't you be real for a second?
I am.
No, that was awful.
No.
That was dreadful what you just did.
That was dreadful.
Thank you. You said it like a horse. That's so kind. I'm going to wrap this up, but I am going to tell you something I've told you before, which is you are a constant source of, I don't know, joy to me anyway.
Thanks, Conan.
I just absolutely love what you do, and I've said this before, I love your mind and your writing and your performing of comedy, and it makes me feel good about things and about the way stuff is headed. And I am so happy for you that you're finding peace and having a good time.
Thanks, man.
With your family. And it's a nice day for me when I get to sit here and trade stupidity with you.
It's a joy for me. Thank you, Conan. You're my absolute hero. So you saying that means more than I can say in words.
Now say it
Let
again.
me say this.
Say it again as a horse. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I want to pay you another compliment because that's the kind of guy I am, and this comes from the heart. I went to the SNL 50th.
Comes from the heart with no eye contact.
I know.
Well,
I gotta pay you a compliment.
That's
Like
how we
you
do
so
it.
much.
I'm sorry.
And you're
Gotta look at this rubber coaster.
You're a solid guy.
Here we go. Look at that. Look at that. It's so Irish, and it is St. Patrick's Day today.
Hey, happy St. Patrick's Day.
And guess what? I'm not doing this intentionally. I'm not a fan of St. Patrick's Day. I'm not a kiss me, I'm Irish guy.
No.
People are always giving me shit for not wearing green, and it's not a statement. I just completely forget. So I'm wearing.
Statement.
You think it's a statement?
I'm
Yeah.
sure it's a statement.
I wanted to compliment you because I went to the SNL 50th, and I know that you were a creative force, a writer behind the SNL 50th. Along with some other fellows.
Yeah.
Was it Simon Rich?
Yeah,
He
Simon
worked
was
with you.
back too. And Emily Spivey, Paula Pell, James Anderson, Tina was working.
I have to say, I thought the show was great. I had good seats. I didn't know anything that was going to happen. And I think enough time has gone by. And I loved my time at Saturday Night Live, but I needed, all of us have war stories. All of us have some form of PTSD from the intensity of that time of our lives, that all this time went by and I came back and I just had a blast.
That's great.
I loved it. I loved talking to everybody. I enjoyed the show. I thought it was really well written. I thought it was paced really well. I was stunned at how much content there was. I mean, from beginning to end.
I mean, granted, recurring sketches and things that had been done before or and the like, but there was so much new performance. Like it wasn't,
Yes,
they showed a couple, they showed the Schiller's Reel with John Belushi. They showed a couple filmed pieces, but that was it.
They showed a few commercial parody montages.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
There were very few montages. It was mostly...
And that was mainly to make acts and get, it's like set transitions.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of new.
It was a lot of new material. I had a great seat to watch Eddie Murphy do two of the sketches he was in. My seat was just looking right into, and I maintain, if he's not the most talented person to ever grace Saturday Night Live, I don't know who it would be. He became Tracy Morgan.
Yeah.
I watched him getting ready, band's playing, they're counting down, we're getting to within 30 seconds. His face is still completely neutral. He gets behind the podium where they're going to play Jeopardy, and he picks up his controller, and then I saw his face morph, and he became Tracy Morgan with like 3 seconds to go. And then he's in a Scared Straight sketch, which is in the exact same position, and he was mesmerizing to watch.
Mesmerizing.
And I'm stunned by him. I really am.
And also it felt like a lot of Saturday Night Live on display in one moment, which is he says he's all the way Ray because he never does anything halfway, but his hair is braided
so
on one
funny.
half and then sticking up. And it was like that dumbass funny joke that Jost wrote. Then the hair department made that wig specifically for that. It looks perfect. And the sketch starts and it's just sort of like a broad touch. And then he has that joke. It was just a lot of things. Every department hard at work on like, the funniest, dumbest joke.
I had a absolutely lovely time. And this was, I think, a week and a half or something before the Oscars, and I didn't have time to go. And something in me said, you have to go. I got my ass there and just loved it, and loved getting to talk to Lorne and tell him, I hope some of this is sinking in, Lorne, at what you've achieved.
My God.
I want that for you. Getting to talk to so many people from over the years, some of whom worked on my late night show for a while when we were Rockefeller Center, and then drifted back to SNL. But I thought it was a triumph, and wow. I mean, I can't imagine everything that went into putting that show together.
Well, what was fun was, from my perspective, months out, there was Radio City, nothing Saturday, and then the broadcast on Sunday. And I talked to Lorne, and he'd tell me a couple things that were going to be at Radio City. And then he would tell me, and Sunday, I think it's Paul and maybe one other detail. This for months.
Right.
And
And
then
which Paul?
exactly.
You never know.
He broke a broom in half and said, "Fight it out," and they both won. They both won.
Which Paul? The one who had a partner that they didn't get along. That still doesn't help.
Wait, real quick. Speaking of Paul
Yeah.
McCartney, I feel bad because one of the two participants should break this joke, but right after the 50th, Marty Short did the end of the show,
Yeah.
the good nights. He had introduced McCartney, and then he was doing the good nights and thanking everyone and thanks Paul McCartney, and it's big applause and all crazy. And then right after the credits are done, Fred runs up to Marty and he goes, "Dude, what did you say?" And he goes, What? And he goes, "You said Tony McCartney."
Oh my
And Marty
God.
goes, "What? Oh my God, damn it." And he was like, "You said Tony McCartney."
That's fantastic.
It's such a good bit.
It's such a good bit because I would
You'd believe
immediately
it.
believe that.
Yeah.
Because, and this isn't true, Armisen, who would lie about that?
Exactly. And when you're speaking in a setting like that live on TV, you really do feel slightly disconnected. It just all feels like air coming out of you. And
Yeah.
dude, you said Tony McCartney.
So messed up.
And Tony McCartney, and everyone still kind of applauded, but thought Marty had lost his mind.
Did he tell him right away? I'm just kidding.
I'm not sure how long. Probably right away.
They probably still haven't told him. It's why he's gone into seclusion. Um, there was the show, and then there was a party at the Plaza.
Oh, man.
And I went to that party at the Plaza.
I got beef with that party again.
What's that?
I got beef with that party again.
Which is?
The 40th and the 50th.
Uh-huh.
Everyone's trying to talk, and these musicians get up and start playing,
Yes.
and it stinks. I want them off the stage. They're so loud.
You can't have a conversation.
You can't have a conversation.
Yeah.
We all want to sit and stand in various areas talking poorly about our contemporaries.
Yes! Thank
and you're
you.
out there trying to do an arcade fire. Get out of here.
Yeah.
I wanted to get a little spray bottle of water and just scoop them off stage. I was so mad.
Like you're training a puppy.
Exactly. No.
the-
What about us looks like we want to move our bodies and dance?
Okay,
We're all tired, and we want to speak lovingly but poorly of our contemporaries, co-workers, the show as a whole, and
Yeah.
what the planning was like.
Yes.
And I remember at the 40th that who's that guy?
I didn't get
That
to go to
fucking
I didn't go to
Prince
40. Yeah.
gets up.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
everyone talks about this like it's the greatest night in New York history. It stunk. They sounded like a wedding band. It was like Elvis Perkins, Paul McCartney, maybe Aykroyd, all of them just playing at once.
Yeah. Yeah.
Loudly.
Yeah.
And then Prince got up and we had to act like that was a big deal. I just was like, I just wanted to
we all know.
talk shit with Bobby Moynihan.
Yeah.
It was such a bump. It's so not what this is about to me.
So-
Loud guitars. I was really mad. And then when I saw them start to plug in at the 50th, I left. I said, I can't do everything.
Okay. Well, here's
I know how to make a good party. We would lower the music and we would all quietly say slightly negative things.
Yeah. Yeah. There were different levels at the Plaza, and I walked in and I decided I knew there was music, and I didn't go towards the music.
Yeah.
I stayed down. There was a bar.
Yeah. I
And-
ended up in the lobby where there were couches.
Yeah. Just hung out there. I went past the lobby. There's a bar area, and I'm standing at the bar area, and I had said hello to a couple of people, and I turn around, and Paul McCartney's standing right there, and I'm an insane Beatles fan. I've interviewed him a bunch of times, but I always assume, I think correctly, that he's met too many he's met too many people in his life. So I don't say like, "Hey, Paul, you know who I am." We start chatting. I tell him I really liked the Golden Slumbers medley, and I like how the guitar parts at the end are so distinctive because the three Beatles played them. Paul first, then
Really cool, dude. Sounds really
sorry,
cool.
I'm sorry. I know.
I like the three guitar parts. You
Sorry,
fucking dork.
I know. I'm saying I know. I'm celebrating my
The
dorkdom.
three guitar
He's
parts.
looking
Because
at the
all
exit.
three of you Beatles played them.
Yeah, I didn't remember the other one's name.
Yeah, all three of you.
And so he,
Joel and Roger.
but
and
he's
you.
chatting, and he's like, "Oh, and he's talking about it. And we're having like a nice conversation. Goes on for a while. I said a couple of things about, I think a couple of nice things about more contemporary work he's done. He seemed to like that. And then he said, well, you've said some nice things to me, he said. And then he said, maybe you want to even it out a little. Like, you've said some nice things. Maybe you want to go the other way for the next comment. And I said, okay, you guys peaked.
Jesus. Oh my God.
I'm sorry. I said you guys peaked with the Quarrymen. Everything after that was shit.
That's great.
And he didn't laugh. He looked a little surprised, but I basically told him the group they had before they were the Beatles was the best, and everything after that was shit. And then I knew to walk away. And I thought maybe that's going to penetrate everything else he's heard tonight. Maybe he's going to wake up at 2 a.m. and go, did that fucker say that I peaked with the Quarrymen?
Like 3 people in Liverpool probably said that.
Yeah.
And it stuck with them.
Yeah.
Like when you was playing weddings, you was better. And they're like, it stays with you. And you go like, yeah, I'd like to see that lady see us now. And with the Tony McCartney insult, I bet his head was spinning.
Yeah. He didn't know. He was taking punches left and right.
My point, the thing I failed to say was that those conversations with Lauren, like, I feel like in a marvelous way, in order to get the collective heart rate where it needed to be, that show was not planned till much closer to it. I mean, you would know, but
I know
it was really fun. It was humorously down to the wire, and then it passed the point of humorous.
Yeah.
It was great.
I knew that would be the case because that's the way it has to be. I also knew,
and it got there, and it was really hard with a 2-year run-up.
And this is selling. Yeah,
he got it there.
Very hard to do that. They announced 2 years out that they were going to be going to Mars with a rocket.
Yep.
And it's the night before, and they're trying to figure out where the nose cone is.
Or they're like, or it could be Venus. And you're like, to get everyone there with such a good feeling, but by Thursday to create an atmosphere where like me and Tina and Seth and Jost are running into each other going, what the hell is happening? Like that was real. That was a work of art. The stress leading up to it was a work of art.
Well, selling out Jim Downey, but I know it was because Jim Downey was calling me, pitching things.
Oh, yeah.
To me, like
showing that full Bob Newhart sketch?
Yeah, a week before and saying, wait, I said, yeah, I think I'm going to be able to come, but wait, you want me to do something? I don't think I'm doing anything. And he's like, no, it'd be great. It'd be great. And also with Norm, you could do a Norm thing. But you could also do this. And I said, I got the impression, I started having the impression that he was wandering around the basement of 30 Rock with a phone and the cord had been snipped. Yeah. Like he wasn't talking. And so he was pitching things that I don't think had any chance of happening.
Well, he wanted to show in its entirety a cut sketch that Bob Newhart starred in called Dave's Superstore. Have you ever heard of it? It's like based on, those Midwestern stores like a Ben Franklin, which sells Hummel figurines and kites and any.
Oh, is it the store that has everything?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's, hey, do you have a crossbow made out of white chocolate?
Yes.
We have one. And so it's that bit with Bob Newhart. It sounded great. But in the middle of the 50th, Jim wanted to show it in its entirety.
Yes.
And I thought that was such a funny thing to be pushing within 72 hours of the broadcast.
Yes. And I was getting these calls from Jim like, so it's all planned. You're going to introduce a sketch. And
it's all planned.
The fix is in. You're going to.
Yeah.
And so I discreetly reached out to some other people who said no.
The best call was the Saturday before I was about to fly in for the week. And Jim goes, now, when are you going to be in the office? And I go, well, I land Monday at this time. He goes, but what time are you getting in? I was like, I'm not sure what time I'm arriving at the office. He goes, I will commit now to keeping banker's hours if you do. I will commit now to keeping banker's hours.
Let's talk about subjects that are near and dear to our heart. I'm a massive fan of you and your
That's nice of you
comedic
to say.
stylings.
Thank you, Conan. I'm a massive fan of yours. I am. Wow. There's no other way to do that.
It was an ill-timed. Wow. Because you're.
Oh my God.
Who said, oh my God? Was that you?
No.
I was drinking water, and I'm not that.
But you're a very good ventriloquist. You talk about so many themes that I can relate to, and I'm not going to mention any specific projects because we're not doing that now.
We're not going to do that.
We're not going to do that, but I've seen you live many times, and so many times you so beautifully and perfectly and hilariously capture things that I talk about. And one of the things that you've talked about some is when you grow up in families like ours, in birth order, the need for attention and the things that you will do to get attention.
100%.
And I was watching your, just you being very hilarious about the things you would do and your jealousy of other people that got attention in weird ways. And I was listening to this and thinking, I've got to mention this to John. When I was a kid, I desperately wanted attention. Middle child, didn't think I was getting it. And in class, we read the book Death Be Not Proud, which is a true story of the author's son's battle with brain cancer.
It was the writer who wrote Travels of Europe and Travels of USA. He had two
And John Gunther.
Yeah.
And it's the story of his son battling brain cancer. And I remembered reading that book and being jealous of, and the kid loses the battle, dies. And I read the book and I remember thinking, that guy got so much attention.
Oh my God.
And it was like, now do you understand that?
1,000%.
Thank you. Thank you.
I remember telling my mom exactly what I wanted at my funeral. And I had no illness.
Right.
And she said, well, you're not going to be there to see it all. And I was crestfallen.
I still can't get over that.
That I wasn't going to get to see people listen to all the songs I picked and have the speakers come up, say what a good person I was. God damn. Can you imagine?
I remember that, and I also remember going to Mass with my whole family, and my grandmother came with us. And I mentioned this to you guys the other day, but I have to say this in front of John. And so I don't know how old I am. I'm like 11 or 12. And I just feel like I'm just this redheaded, round-faced, freckled blob just lost in the sea. Like, no one's looking at me. So, and my grandmother was with us, who was ancient. She was born in I think she was born in like 1890. So, and, I think she was the person who shot Teddy Roosevelt when he was giving a speech. That was her claim to fame. But
Best political mic drop ever.
Thank you. Yeah.
Bull Moose Party speech.
Yeah,
I don't think you realize I've been shot. Everyone laughs. He goes, no, look.
And he opens his jacket and his glasses case stopped the bullet. Wow. And then he continues the speech. Wow. So today that would be, okay, just be president. Let's stop fucking around trying to find someone else. Anyway, my grandmother's with us. We're all there in church. And then there's the part where you go up and take communion. And I got out and I feigned a limp.
I knew you were going to say that.
I faked a slight limp going up the aisle and took my communion and then did my limp on the way back and sat down, and my grandmother leaned over and she said into my ear, "Are you lame, boy?" And I said, "I'll be fine," bravely. It was all bullshit.
Wow.
Because I needed to pop in that moment, and I wasn't popping.
Is responsible for your success. That drive.
My fake limp?
No, just
that's why Lauren gave me late night.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about his limp. Maybe a little late night experience.
Lauren cast him in. Lauren was directing Richard III and gave him the lead. And then from there, from Richard III, he said, "Do you want to write the late night show?" And he said, "What if I host it?"
What if I host it?
Everyone was so busy that it happened.
Yeah.
Everyone was busy. That's why.
That part's kind of true.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
Everyone is. That actually is true.
I remember one year I told everyone in school that my dad was Mark Summers, the host of Double Dare.
Whoa.
And I would say these things, then I'd forget about them.
Right.
And then people would meet my dad and be upset. And then I would go to school and say that our house burnt down the night before just to get any traction.
Yes.
It was just about getting a little eye contact and a little conversation going.
We're not, I don't know about you, I'm not defending any of this behavior. And this is sad, tragic behavior. I am just that until John said these things in his stand-up, I felt, well, I can never admit to this, but then a very well-liked professional comedian and voice of youth said the same thing, and I thought, now I can talk about this. Now I can say that one of the happiest days of my life is when I shattered my elbow and had to be put in a cast.
Wow.
And they brought me,
Jeez.
because a kid in school, we were fooling around and a kid jumped up on top of me and I fell back and put my arm back and it bent
A separate
completely.
piece style.
Yeah, the wrong way. And they put me in what was like a 1920s comedy cast. You know, today it would be like microsurgery and then like a tiny. They put me in a cast that was made of a plaster that they
Did
used.
it have the stick going? From
It didn't
the,
have this. I wanted the stick. Trust me.
stick going from forearm to rib.
Yeah, from
That's
forearm
the
to rib.
funniest thing.
Yes.
Stick.
Yeah.
Because you
at the
wonder
end-
if there's even anything in there if it's just all plastic.
Yeah. I had my real arm tied behind me, and then I had a fake cast with a stick. No, but I remembered they gave me medication. And I remember thinking, I feel amazing. I have an incredible sense of well-being.
Wonderful.
And then I have this cast on, and they took me home, and I lived up in the attic. They put me in they put me on the second floor.
Wow,
They put me on the second floor,
second
and then
floor status.
Christmas was coming soon. So my parents brought out gifts for me. This was like December 18th. And then all my brothers and sisters gathered around, and I thought, I hope this arm withers.
Yeah.
I hope this arm never heals.
I'm
Ever.
just so curious, talent aside, because this is the talent side of the table, how much of that
He
drive...
just gestured to
Yeah.
John.
Thanks,
I just
Matt.
want.
No, I did
That's,
it.
yeah.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
what I saw was
He's
you
right.
pushed in, and then you scooped towards John.
I took your small portion and I just hedged my bets over here. How much of that is your drive? Because, you know, every kid dabbles in that. We dabbled in attention seeking, but I think at a certain point you go, okay, I got to be realistic here. But you continued on. How much of that drive is responsible for where you guys are very successful? I'm just curious. What?
Well, why don't you take this, John?
Well, I don't know.
Because there's obviously talent, but what chicken or the egg? What gives you the talent? The need to, like, you workshop your talent for a need for attention, or you had the talent? How did?
Well,
it
it's
go?
if you have the need for attention, the drive for attention, and then you have the delivery device of entertainment.
Which comes first?
That's why I think not everyone does it. Maybe some people didn't just love entertaining and show business as much.
Well, I mean,
I was always mystified by kids that didn't want to be in entertainment.
Yeah. Oh,
mystified.
Me too. And also,
I'm still mystified by people that don't want to be comedians. I'm actually still quite confused by why people don't want to be comedians. I'm not remotely kidding.
But also,
I don't understand. It's the
you
life of
openly
kids.
mock the guy that made like the Hubble Space Telescope.
That thing, that's no good. You look in it, you just see your eyelashes. You look in the viewer, it's all eyelashes. That thing stinks. Do you have a friend with a telescope and they make you look at, they go, you can see Saturn tonight.
And
You look in, you see your own eyelashes.
Yeah, I do.
And then when they finally show it to you, it's like a dot, and you go, oh, okay. And the guy, one time this happened, the guy said to me, what did you think it was going to be? I go, I'm embarrassed to say what I thought it was going to be. And he's like, did you think it'd be a ball with rings around it and you'd see that through the telescope? I said, yes, absolutely.
That's the whole reason for having a telescope.
I
I can go online and look at an amazing photo of Saturn. I don't need to come over to your house and you serve this shit wine. And now I'm supposed to look at my eyelash and then a dot?
Yeah.
And by the way, that's not guacamole. If there's not onion in it, it's not guacamole.
Wow.
I'm getting very specific.
Wow.
Anyway,
The Hubble's crap anyway. It's people that know about that stuff know it's crap. But I know to the public it's a big to-do.
Look, the new telescope, the Webb telescope, now that's the winner.
The Webster Hubble telescope.
Is it Webster? Okay.
Who was Webster Hubble? Is that Reagan, Bush? What is that? What is that name? That reference? Webster Hubble. It's a person.
I don't know that it is.
Okay.
And I think you should maybe go.
Nobody look at me.
Attorney General
Under?
from 1993 to 1994.
Oh,
Bill
that's
Clinton.
Clinton. Never mind.
Incredible. Yeah, I'm not going to say that you brought us on an unproductive cul-de-sac, but I am going to say you're insistent.
You know what's good about a cul-de-sac? You can drive right out of it. We know who Webster Hubble is now. You know what I mean?
What bothers me is that when you entered the building, the name Webster Hubble was written on your hand, as if work this in. That's the part that concerns me.
And we still haven't even gotten to see Everett Koop.
I love that beard.
Yeah.
What a great whaler he was.